Welcome back to the channel BBC Rare Coins. Today we're diving into the world of one of America's most iconic coins, the wheat penny. Minted from 1909 to 1958, these little copper treasures are packed with history. Top 1. You might want to sit down for this, because that 1-cent coin you thought was worthless, it might just be worth $66,000. Yes, we're talking about the 1940 Lincoln wheat penny, a simple copper coin that's now one of the most valuable, most viral, and most sought-after coins in U.S. history. It was supposed to be just another penny. In 1940, the U.S. Mint produced over 586 million of these coins. They were used for lunch, for newspapers, for bus rides. Millions tossed them in jars, pockets, ashtrays, and forgot about them. But history had other plans, because buried within that mountain of ordinary pennies were a handful of mistakes, rare, subtle, and now worth a fortune. We're not talking about gold. We're not talking about silver. We're talking about copper, the most basic of metals. And yet, collectors today are offering up to $66,000 for a single 1940 wheat penny. So, what's the catch? It all comes down to one thing: minting errors and condition. A few rare 1940 wheat pennies left the mint with unique flaws, double die errors, where the text appears twice in shadow, misplaced or misaligned mint marks, and even ghost-like outlines around Lincoln's portrait. Tiny imperfections to the average person, but to a collector, a goldmine. One of the most valuable examples ever sold was a 1940 wheat penny in pristine, uncirculated mint condition, flawless surfaces. No scratches. Perfect strike. It sold for a whopping $66,000 at auction. And here's what's wild: this wasn't in a museum. This wasn't owned by a millionaire. It was found in someone's personal collection, sitting untouched for decades. It gets better. Some of the most valuable 1940 pennies don't even look rare. They look normal. But under a magnifying glass, everything changes. Check the word Liberty. If the letters appear to have a faint shadow or doubling effect, that could be a double die. Check the date. If it's doubled or looks thicker than usual, that's another clue. Now look below the year. Is there a small D or S? That means it was minted in Denver or San Francisco. Pennies from those locations, especially with unique flaws, are even more desirable. And then there's condition. This is where it all comes together. A coin that's been in circulation scratched, dull, faded, might only fetch a few dollars, even with a rare error. But a 1940 wheat penny that's crisp, shiny, sharp in every detail, that's where the five-figure payouts begin. People are finding them in jars, old wallets, estate sales. Addicts. One man even found his in a bag of pennies he bought at a flea market for $5. The story went viral. TikTok lit up. YouTube exploded with reaction videos. Collectors started combing through old coins like treasure hunters, because everyone realized the same thing: you might be walking around with a $66,000 coin in your pocket. The 1940 wheat penny is now a legend. A symbol of how something ordinary, something forgotten, can suddenly be worth more than a car, a vacation, even a college tuition. So the next time you see a penny, don't toss it. Don't ignore it. Flip it over. Check the date. Look at the details, because if it says 1940 and the condition is sharp, you might be holding one of the most valuable coins in American history. 1 penny, 1 cent, $66,000. This isn't just a coin. It's a story. It's a piece of history. And maybe it's your next big discovery. Check your change. Search your drawers. Look through your old jars and albums, because hidden among the coins of the past might be the fortune of your future. Top 2. What if I told you that one single penny, just 1 cent, could be worth an astonishing $64,000? Yes, $64,000 for a coin that most people toss into fountains or lose between couch cushions. Imagine holding in your hand something more valuable than many luxury cars, something that could completely change your life. And it might already be in your pocket or lying forgotten in a drawer. This isn't just any ordinary penny. This is the legendary 1944 steel wheat penny, one of the rarest and most sought-after coins in all of American history. To understand why this penny is so valuable, you have to go back to a very unique time in the United States. The middle of World War II. During the war, copper was a precious and critical metal. The government needed it for ammunition, weapons, and other military equipment. So in 1943, the U.S. Mint made pennies out of steel instead of copper to conserve resources. These steel pennies were shiny, silver-colored, and magnetic, very different from the usual copper look we all recognize. That by 1944, the war effort allowed the mint to switch back to copper pennies. However, here's where the story gets interesting. Some steel blanks from 1943 were accidentally left inside the coin presses. When the mint struck the coins in 1944, a small number of pennies were mistakenly made from steel instead of copper. This tiny error created what we now call the 1944 steel wheat penny, a coin that was never meant to exist. Because only a few dozen of these coins were ever produced, they are incredibly rare today. And rarity in the coin world means one thing: high value. In fact, one of these 1944 steel pennies recently sold at auction for an unbelievable $64,000. That's right, one penny worth $64,000. But how do you know if you might have one? It's simpler than you think. First, check the date on the penny. It has to say 1944. Second, look at the color. A common 1944 penny is copper-colored. If your penny is silver-colored and shiny, it might be a steel penny. Third, grab a magnet. If the coin sticks, that's a strong sign it's made of steel, and possibly one of these rare 1944 steel wheat pennies. Finally, look for a mint mark. Some of these coins have a D for the Denver Mint, some have an S for San Francisco, and some have no mint mark at all, meaning they were made in Philadelphia. Any of these variations could be worth thousands, even tens of thousands, of dollars. What's even more amazing is that these coins have been found in the most unexpected places. People discover them tucked away in old jars filled with spare change, hidden in dusty drawers, or forgotten in old coin collections passed down through generations. Many didn't realize what they had until they took a closer look. Imagine that. A coin you've had for decades, overlooked, now worth more than most people earn in a year. Turning a penny into $64,000 sounds like a fairy tale, but it's very real. So here's the big question. Do you have one? It's time to check your change. Look through your old coins. Take a magnet to your pennies. Because sometimes, treasure isn't buried deep underground or locked away in a vault. Sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight, right in the palm of your hand. The 1944 steel wheat penny. One tiny mistake, 1 cent, one life-changing shot at $64,000. Don't wait. Your fortune could be just a penny away. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about hidden treasures and rare coins, make sure to like and subscribe. Who knows, your next big find could be just around the corner. Top 3. We're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable pieces of American numismatic history, the 1946 wheat penny. This little copper coin may look ordinary at first glance, but trust me, it holds a story and value that has captivated collectors worldwide. Now, the 1946 wheat penny isn't just any penny. It's one of the rarest and most sought-after coins in the United States, and it's become a viral sensation among coin collectors and investors alike. You might wonder, how can a simple penny, something so common, reach values as high as $62,000? Let's unpack this incredible tale. First, a bit of background. The wheat penny series was minted from 1909 to 1958 and earned its name from the distinctive wheat stalks engraved on the reverse side. These pennies are loved not only for their historical value, but also because they represent a tangible piece of everyday American life from the early to mid-20th century. The 1946 wheat penny, specifically, is infamous because of its extreme rarity in certain conditions and varieties. While millions were minted, the version that commands sky-high prices today is tied to a few key factors: misprints, mint marks, and condition. One of the rarest 1946 wheat pennies is the 1946 double die obverse. This is where the coin's design, especially the date and lettering, appears doubled, a striking and clear visual doubling caused by a misalignment during the minting process. Coins with such doubling are notoriously rare, and their scarcity combined with eye-catching errors make them extremely valuable. Another incredibly rare variety comes from the mint marks. The Philadelphia Mint, notably, didn't use a mint mark, while Denver and San Francisco did. However, certain misprints or coins struck with unusual characteristics at these mints can be much more valuable. But why $62,000? This price reflects a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and demand. Collectors prize coins graded in mint state condition, meaning flawless or nearly flawless, showing no signs of wear. A 1946 wheat penny that is both a rare variety and in mint condition is almost unheard of. When one of these gems hits the market, the bidding war pushes its value to astronomical heights, beyond the monetary value. This coin represents a moment frozen in time. Post-World War II America, a country rebuilding and growing, and a humble penny that circulated through countless hands, only for a few to end up as prized collector's items to eye in the modern age. Thanks to viral videos and social media, stories about rare coins like the 1946 wheat penny spread rapidly. The fascination isn't just among numismatists, but also everyday people who dream of stumbling upon a treasure in their pocket change. If you ever come across a 1946 wheat penny, take a closer look. It might just be the key to unlocking a fortune. And if you're lucky enough to find one with the double die error or in pristine mint condition, you could be holding a piece of history worth tens of thousands of dollars. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual hobbyist, the 1946 wheat penny stands as a shining example of how even the smallest coin can tell the biggest stories and hold the greatest value. Thanks for watching. And if you love uncovering hidden treasures like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more incredible coin stories coming your way. Top 4. We're uncovering the story behind one of the most valuable and rare coins in American history, the 1950 wheat penny. This coin might look like just a small, everyday copper penny, but it holds a jaw-dropping value that's been making waves in the numismatic world. Believe it or not, certain versions of this 1950 wheat penny have been known to sell for up to $58,000. So, what makes this coin so incredibly special? Let's dive right in. First off, the Wheat Penny series, minted from 1909 to 1958, is beloved by collectors worldwide for its iconic design featuring the wheat stalks on the reverse side. These pennies represent decades of American history, and each one tells a unique story. The 1950 wheat penny stands out as one of the rarest and most valuable coins from this era, especially when you consider the specific varieties and minting errors that exist. Now, the vast majority of 1950 wheat pennies you'll find in circulation are quite common and worth only a few cents. But the versions that push that price tag into the tens of thousands are tied to rare mint errors and limited surviving specimens in exceptional condition. One of the most notable variants is the 1950 double die obverse wheat penny. This is a coin where the design, especially the date and lettering, appears doubled because of a misalignment during the die creation process. This error causes a dramatic shadow or doubling effect, making it instantly recognizable and highly sought after by collectors. The rarity of these doubled die coins is extreme, especially when found in pristine condition. Another reason some 1950 wheat pennies fetch such a high price is the mint mark. In 1950, pennies were produced in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. Certain mint marks combined with specific errors, like die cracks or double dies, create a perfect storm for rarity and value. For example, a 1950 S with a double die or a specific striking error can be far more valuable than a typical penny. The condition of the coin is absolutely crucial here. Coins graded as mint state, or MS by professional grading services, meaning they show no wear and have perfect surfaces, can push the value of these rare pennies into the $50,000 plus range. Collectors and investors are willing to pay huge sums for a flawless specimen because these coins are virtually impossible to find in such untouched condition. But it's not just about the mint errors or the condition. The 1950 wheat penny has become a viral sensation in the coin collecting community and beyond, thanks to social media platforms showcasing unbelievable finds and sales. Videos featuring these rare pennies have garnered millions of views, inspiring a new generation of collectors eager to hunt through their change for hidden treasures. Imagine this: a simple penny, something you might toss in a jar or overlook on the street, turns out to be a rare, minting marvel from 1950, worth tens of thousands of dollars. It's the ultimate treasure hunt right in your pocket. The story behind the 1950 wheat penny reminds us that even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary value and history. It's a symbol of America's post-war era, a time when the country was growing rapidly and everyday life was full of hope and opportunity. This penny isn't just money. It's a piece of that history, preserved perfectly for those lucky enough to find it.so. Next time you get your change, take a closer look at any wheat pennies, especially those dated 1950. Check for any doubling on the date or lettering, and if it looks flawless or has any unusual features, it might just be your ticket to a small fortune. Top 5. We're diving into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in American history, the 1958 wheat penny. You might be thinking, a penny? From 1958? But trust me, this coin is far from ordinary. In fact, certain rare versions of the 1958 wheat penny have recently gone viral in the coin collecting community and have sold for jaw-dropping prices, up to $56,000. Let's explore what makes this humble penny so extraordinary and why collectors are absolutely obsessed with it. First off, a little context. The wheat penny series, minted from 1909 to 1958, is beloved by collectors for its iconic design, 2 ears of wheat on the reverse side symbolizing prosperity. The year 1958 is particularly special because it marks the final year the wheat penny was produced before the Lincoln Memorial design took over in 1959. This transition year adds an extra layer of historical significance and intrigue to the 1958 penny. Now, most 1958 wheat pennies you find are pretty common and worth just a few cents. But among these millions, there exists some incredibly rare and valuable varieties that can command mind-blowing prices. One of the most famous is the 1958 double die obverse wheat penny. This is where the date and some of the lettering appear doubled due to a die error during the minting process. This doubling is not just a slight blur, it's a clear, bold doubling that collectors hunt for tirelessly. What makes the 1958 double die so special? Well, this type of mint error is notoriously scarce, especially in high-grade condition. Most pennies with doubling show signs of wear or circulation, which drastically reduces their value. But when a 1958 wheat penny with this error is found in mint state, meaning it looks almost brand new with no signs of wear, its value skyrockets. There's also the matter of mint marks. In 1958, pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. Some of the rarest 1958 wheat pennies come from the San Francisco Mint, especially those with subtle variations or errors combined with that iconic double die effect. Collectors prize these coins because they represent a perfect blend of rarity and historical importance. But why the viral buzz and $56,000 price tag? It all comes down to scarcity, condition, and collector demand. When a pristine 1958 double die wheat penny surfaces, especially one verified by professional grading companies as mint state 65 or higher, it triggers excitement across the coin community. Videos showcasing these coins, their close-up details, and auction results have gone viral, inspiring everyone from hardcore numismatists to casual treasure hunters to scour their collections and coin rolls. Imagine holding a single penny that captures the end of an era, with a rare minting error that's practically impossible to find, and in perfect condition no less. This coin isn't just a piece of copper, it's a piece of American history, art, and luck all rolled into one tiny disc. And that's why collectors are willing to pay 6 figures for it. The 1958 wheat penny teaches us a valuable lesson. Sometimes, the most ordinary-looking coins can hide extraordinary value. It's a reminder to always check your change carefully, because you never know when you might find a hidden treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars. If you're as fascinated by rare coins as I am, and want to keep up with more incredible stories and discoveries, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting out there, because your next fortune could be just one penny away.